Thank you so much, Stefan. Should appreciate you coming over. All right, it's with great pleasure that I invite Mr. Gidon Karter, the CTO of Folks Finance, to the stage now. And for those of you who don't know, Folks Finance is the leading DeFi protocol in the Algorand ecosystem by TVL, Total Value Locked. So Gidon, please, the floor is all yours. Thank you. And then you can use this clicker.
Hi everyone, my name's Gidon and I'm the CTO of Folks Finance. Folks Finance is the leading DeFi protocol in Algorand, and I'm excited to share with you today a bit about the various APIs we offer. So the first API we have is called the Folks Router. The Folks Router is a DEX aggregator that allows you to trade tokens across multiple decentralized exchanges on the Algorand blockchain. And this means that you can get the best possible price on your swap in the most efficient way. And the Folks Router does that by routing your swaps through various different paths. So why should you use the Folks Router? The Folks Router offers a number of advantages. The first is split routing, which means that it would transfer tokens and it would split that across multiple different routes. So say you're trading Algo to USDC, maybe 70% of the swap would come from an Algo USDC Tinyman pool, and 30% of that would come from an Algo USDC packed pool. It also supports multi-swap paths. So this means that you can trade tokens through intermediary assets to get the best possible price. So let's say you launch a meme token on Algorand and you set up an Algo pool with that. You can get a swap between USDC and that meme token through routing that trade through the Algo USDC pool. It also supports composability. So the group transaction generated is ABI compliant and can be combined with other transactions in the group to build more complex operations. It's widely available, so we support the Tinyman, Packed, and Humble pools. We also support normal lending pools, stable swap pools. And when a new pool is listed on a DEX as well, it becomes automatically available in the Folks Router. We also have fixed input and fixed output swap. So this means that you could either return the excess token through the swap in the input token or the output token. There's a low fees of just 0.1%, and it's also fast, where you get a quote in less than a second, and the transaction is finalized on Algorand in just 3 seconds. Here you can see the various endpoints associated with the Folks Router. You can scan the QR code on the right to view our documentation, or you can just go to folksrouter.io. The two endpoints you need to execute a swap are the fetch quote endpoint and the prepare swap. So the fetch quote endpoint takes in the details you need to do the swap, such as the from asset and to asset, and the amount that you would like to swap. And in return, it gives you a quote of how much you are going to receive. And if you're happy with the quote, then you can call the prepare swap transaction, the prepare point endpoint, with the quote that you receive, and that would return to you the transactions needed to execute the swap. We also have an SDK available, which you can call the API through. So in this example here, we specified several params, which is the from asset of 0, which refers to Algo, and the to asset of 315, and so on, which is USDC. And the amount that we're swapping is 10 Algo to USDC, and it's a fixed input swap. We then pass in those params to the fetch quote call, and we receive a quote at that point. So maybe it will say that you're going to receive 2 USDC if you were to execute this swap. If you're happy with the quote, you can proceed by calling the prepare swap transactions, passing in the params, as well as the quote you received, also your address that you want to execute the transaction through, and also the slippage, which is here's 10, which is 0.1%. Lastly, we sign and submit the transactions, and you've successfully executed the swap. The Folks Router also has a referral program if you're interested in integrating the Folks Router into your own project. All fees are split 50-50 between the referrer and Folks Finance. And it's very easy to set up, where you just use the referrer parameter in the fetch quote API call. The integration is customizable too. For example, if you want to compose them together with other transactions, then you can do so by specifying a parameter which is the maximum number of transactions that the Folks Router will consume, leaving enough space for the remaining transactions that you would like to have. If you have high demands too, we also have API keys available rather than just using the default 10 requests a second. The next API which we offer is Folks Feed. So Folks Feed is an oracle which provides pricing data to Folks Finance as well as other DeFi projects like Xpact. First, a bit about oracles. Smart contracts on the Algorand blockchain cannot access information outside of the network. So oracles are applications that collect, verify, and aggregate real-world data off-chain and make them available on-chain. Without oracles, smart contracts on Algorand wouldn't be able to access this data. An oracle then therefore provides a mechanism where you can get this off-chain data and use some value, add some value on top of that on-chain. So the Folks Feed oracle focuses on pricing, and it can be divided into 4 different sections. The first section is the real-world data, which is the source where we actually are getting the information from the oracle. So in our case, this could be Coinbase for the price of algo. Then we have a server, which takes in this data, filters it and processes it, and then would publish that data to a smart contract on Algorand. The smart contract is a stateful application, so it stores the price data in its global state. Then the ecosystem can read that global state either off-chain or on-chain and get that price data. You can scan the QR code on the right here to view the documentation for the Folks Feed, or you can just go to folksfeed.io. Here you can see an example feed provided by the oracle, which is the price of algo, and also the price sources are listed here, such as Coinbase, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and so on. The price is written in the global state of the Algorand application, so you can simply call the algo node API endpoints listed at the top there and receive all the feed data. We also have an SDK available, which you can call the API through. So in the example shown, you can see just in a couple lines of code that we've been able to read the algo price. And if you want to consume the price data on-chain, we've also written a subroutine here that you can use. And part of the on-chain data you receive is also the timestamp, which is the price that the price that was last written at. So you may want to as well check that field for staleness. I want to end the presentation by teasing the upcoming product we have, which is liquid staking. So it was announced last year that Algorand will be transitioning from governance rewards to consensus rewards. And with the introduction of liquid staking, users will be able to delegate the algo to Folks Finance, who will then participate in consensus on their behalf. Users won't need to worry about the complexities and the costs associated with running consensus, as that will all be handled for them through Folks Finance. It also gives the chances to users who have smaller amounts of algo to also participate and earn yield, which they wouldn't have been able to otherwise because of the 30,000 algo minimum requirement. The solution we built involves the XAlgo token, and we want the XAlgo token to be used throughout the ecosystem, so we've put a lot of effort into making it as simple and as composable as possible. The XAlgo token can be paired with other tokens on DEXs to provide liquidity. It can also be provided as collateral in Folks Finance, and it can be used as a payment mechanism in NFT marketplaces. The simple formula underpinning XAlgo is that the value is equal to the algo locked divided by the XAlgo circulating. And this function is monotonically increasing, so it means that its value always increases over time. So therefore, the cost to mint XAlgo would go up, but also the amount of algo you receive also goes up when you eventually burn. Here is a simplified diagram of how XAlgo works. A user sends algo to a shared algo pool, and in return, they receive XAlgo. The algo pool is controlled by a smart contract, and that smart contract registers online to participate in consensus. The pool then earns algo rewards as it proposes blocks, as you can see here, and the algo that's earned by the pool is distributed back to the user through the increased value of XAlgo. So when the user decides to unstake their algo, they receive their original algo plus their share of their rewards. That's all I have today, but if you have any questions on APIs or other Folks Finance related topics, you can reach out to me throughout the conference.